Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Agajanana Padmarkam Gajananam Aharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahi. Welcome to all for this session on Ganesha Purana to chapter 39. In the previous chapter, we have seen how Gritsamada, who was blessed by Gajanana for having son who will be much more powerful and will torment all the three worlds. And at one day, when Gritsamada sneezed, there born a child, and who immediately became more powerful, and he grew up. And with the blessings from his father Gritsamada, he received the mantra of Gananantva, and then he walked into the forest, performed great austerities, and got the appearance of Gajanana, who blessed him with the boons to become all powerful across the three worlds, so that he will be able to rule over the three worlds. Vyasa, on hearing this story from Brahma, became curious to know what Tripura did. He was named that demon who was born out of Gritsamada, son of Gritsamada, was named Tripura because the god blessed him with three floating cities made of gold, silver, and iron. So, what did Tripura do after he had been made arrogant by those boons from Gajanana? O Brahma, please tell me everything since it is all of interest to me. Brahma explained. He then had an image of Ganesha made of stone from Kashmir, erected as prescribed by Brahmins who were skilled in mantras. But in the midst of Ganeshapura, he built a beautiful temple which was huge, celestial, and golden, decorated with jewels and pearls. He then worshipped the Lord with the 16 ritual practices and countless acts of obeisance, eulogies, and solicitations. Here, the 16 ritual practice, there is a standard set of 16 ritual practices which people follow whenever they worship the god. It's about mentioning of that. And you might have observed that every sage, whenever they perform the austerities, when after years of performing the austerities, when they had got the vision of the god, that very spot they will mark it by placing or by installing an idol of the god and erecting a huge temple there. Because that would be considered as a divine spot. So even people at a later time visit that particular spot, they can practice their spirituality in a much easier way in that spot rather than anywhere else. After he had requested forbearance from the Lord of the God of the gods, and requested permission to leave, he went outside, gave many gifts to the Brahmins in accord with their status. Because of that, that abode of Tripura, located in Bengal, was called Ganeshapura, and it confers every success upon everyone. This is located in the area of Bengal, where there is a city called as Ganeshapura, where Tripura has performed his austerities. The demon Tripura, who had become full of pride because of Gajanana's boon, now governed the human worlds but was obsessed with conquering the gods. So, first he conquered the entire world where human species are living, and now he is interested in conquering the city of gods. In order to serve him, very powerful men came from everywhere with their foot soldiers, horses, elephants, and charioteers, the four different corpses of the army. By his favor, kings became his servants, but those who were inimical died because they could not fight against him. Having in this way conquered the entire earth, he went to Amaravati. Amaravati is the capital of the city of, it's a city of gods, where Indra, he went to Amaravati. There, Indra was surrounded by hosts of gods who were adept at various kinds of battle and armored up. He mounted Airavata and departed for battle. Upon knowing that Tripura is coming to invade over Amaravati, the god of the king of the gods, Indra, he mounted his vehicle, which is basically an elephant called Airavata, and he departed for battle. The mighty Demon then split his army of four corps into three parts. After he had beheld the great Demon Bhimakaya, who was skilled in fighting with the bow, the club, and the sword, and the Demon Vajradamstra, who was adept at fighting with missiles and wrestling, the bull of the demons said to Bhimakaya, You become the overlord of the entire human worlds. And to the venomous Vajradamstra, the powerful Tripura said, You go to the underworld. What I mentioned earlier as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Patala, Talatala, Rasatala, these are the different seven worlds which are below our visible world. And he told Vajradamstra to go to those worlds which are below us and conquer over them. You go to the underworld with one third of my army, and by my authority render subservient to all the snakes led by Shesha. This underworld, the world below us, are assumed to be occupied by the snakes and their snake god. With the other third, I will conquer Indra and all the gods. So he divided his army into three parts, one under Bhimakaya to take care of the entire visible world where human species are living, and another part taken under the leadership of Vajradamstra to conquer over the netherworlds, that means the worlds below the visible world. And the third part of the army he took with him to conquer over the world which is above us, the heavens, which is not again not visible for us. Brahma said, Vajradamstra and Bhimakaya both set out as commanded. He began enjoying himself with his army of four corps. Capturing the divine soldiers, they smashed the celestial trees. After he had established himself there, the demon king dispatched messengers to Indra, saying, Either bring Indra here quickly for a meeting, or declare this command of mine. Go immediately to the world of dead, or give me Amaravati. So he's putting he's trying to create a fear among the gods, saying that he would either kill them or otherwise they should hand over the Amaravati to the Tripurasura. I will willingly look after you, but if you intend to fight, then advance towards me quickly. So he invited them to fight with him or hand over their city to him. When they met Indra, they described what the demon Tripura had done. After hearing their speech, he was like a mountain struck by thunderbolt. Indra, who is the enemy of Kakala, shook like a tree in the wind, and wondering what had happened, he became wound up with anxiety, eyes completely inflamed. He blazed with the fire of anger as if he were turning the world into ashes and drying up the clouds. He told the messengers to leave quickly and get ready for battle. Indra, the killer of God's enemies, himself mounted Airavata and roared, shaking the triple worlds with that great roar. After hearing his speech, the messengers left as they had come. So Tripura had first sent the messengers to Indra, telling him that either you hand over your city or be ready for a war with me. Hearing this, Indra was trembling with anger, and he mounted his Airavata and he was ready to have a fight with Tripura. All the gods armored up, and in their hands they held swords and various weapons. Some had short javelins in their hands, and some had spears and pikes in their hands. These are the different weapons that they are having. Some were carrying hammers and swords, others had bows and arrows in their hands, while some were armed with hunting clubs and others had staves in their hands. Accordingly, the accompaniment of the sounds of various instruments. Usually, whenever a army marches out, there will be sounds of various instruments. Indra, the thunderbolt bearer, went forth with a host of gods, his path blessed by the Brahmins, as he was going for a war with Tripurasura. However, from his messenger's statement, Tripura knew Indra to be preparing for battle, so he armed and roused his four limbed army. Here, the four limbed army means the four corpses of the army, the people who walk on foot, the people who ride over the horses, the people who ride over the elephant, and the people who ride in chariots. After he had gathered together that numberless army, he marched out mounted on his horse. Adorned with heroes, the two armies beheld each other, and a huge noise ensued because of the booming of their battle cries, their roars, the neighing, and the strains of music. Then, merely by the sound hum, Tripura urged them on, and those heroes fought with the gods, and the great battle ensued. Not knowing whether one was ally or enemy, they killed each other, and in this way many demons died in the tumultuous battle. But the gods fell too, tormented by the demon's weapons. So people started dying on either side, on the side of the demon as well on the side of the gods. The soldiers seemed to be spotted like kimsuka flowers, and some lay down but not on the beds, and others, camels, elephant masters, chariot hordes, and the foot soldiers. So everybody was dying because they had no feet. But then, like deer looking for food, who have unexpectedly seen a lion, the demons fled and went in all directions. After that, having checked his army, that most eminent of the enemies, blazing greatly because of the fire of his anger, became himself without rival and rumbled like a cloud, all but devouring heaven and earth. He went to, that means the demon Tripura, he first he saw his army getting scattered because of the attack by the gods, but then he assembled the entire army together and he encouraged them to fight, and he himself went directly to fight with Indra. With his own sword, he violently struck hand of Lord, in which he was holding the thunderbolt. Thunderbolt happens to be one of the weapons of Indra. Then miraculously the thunderbolt fell from his hand. Taking it, the demon struck the elephant Airavata with that thunderbolt. Being struck, Airavata left and fled the spot. With his first, with his fist, the demon Tripura struck Indra, who momentarily fell to the ground. But immediately he got up and he struck the demon with a fist, and both fell on the ground. Getting up, Indra angrily said to the demon, "Get ready to wrestle now, O Lord of the demons." But completely surprised and arrogant with the power of the demon, he said, "Why are you so concerned about your own life, O Lord of the gods? Even worms, insects, and flying insects consider life to be exceedingly precious. O God, you go to the earth. That is your appropriate place, which I offer to you." So he was trying to mimic, he was trying to say few words which will bring down the confidence of Indra. He's saying, the life is so precious that if you continue to fight with me, it is the boon from Gajanana that no god other than Shiva, other than Rudra, nobody else can defeat him. So, quite naturally, he can easily defeat Indra. After he had heard that speech, Indra said, enemy, if indeed I do not liberate you from life, I will certainly go to earth in obedience to your command. O wild demon, but now, rogue, you will go to the earth without your head. Means Indra shouted at him, saying that he will going to liberate the demon from his body, so that he will going to end his life, so that it is not Indra. If Indra is defeated, he told he will obediently go to earth. If otherwise, this demon will go back to the earth with his head cut off. After the Lord of the gods said this, the evil demon king struck him on the heart with his fist. A battle between them then took place, and like Krishna was a great deity, and Chanura was a great wrestler. And in the Bhagavata, we have heard the story where Krishna had finally kills Chanura. So, in the same way, like Krishna was fighting with Chanura, so here Indra is fighting with Tripura. Both sought victory over the other. These two struck heart with heart, hand with hand, and they struck a part of their leg between the thigh and knee between with their two knees, head with the head, elbow with the elbow. They struck back with back and feet with feet. But the demons, having got hold of Indra's feet, swung him around repeatedly, threw him far away to a place that was known by none. He himself mounted the four tusked lord of the elephant called Airavata. So finally, in their fighting of wrestling, Tripura held Indra by his leg and he flew him away to a faraway unknown place, and then with his victory he mounted over the Airavata and walked into the city of Amaravathi. Thereafter, all the host of gods became distressed because of their fear of demons and went to the caves on Mount Himavat in search of Indra, wandering about around thinking, where has this Indra had fallen? However, we'll find the Lord. They met the Lord of the gods, his face downcast, who had turned up just then. Some groups of gods bowed to him, while others embraced him. Some honored him, while someone else fanned him. Some devotedly rubbed his feet. All the gods dwelt right there, then their bodies hidden. So finally they could able to find Indra, but they were not in a position to regain control of their city, Amaravati. However, the demon, having ascended Airavata, went to Amaravati when he himself was sitting in the place of Indra. He gave the planets of the gods to the demons, which were earlier controlled by the planets and places which were earlier controlled by the demigods. Now, all those places are given to demons, allocating them one by one to the enemies of the gods as had been previously arranged. Listening to the voices of the heavenly musicians accompanied by the music of celestial instruments and being served by kinnaras, he dallied with the group of apsaras. Whatever the glory that was enjoyed by Indra is now being enjoyed by Tripura by sitting in the place of Indra. Thus ends the 39th chapter of Upasana Khanda of the glorious Ganesha Purana, in which we have seen Tripura has waged a war against the demigods and had announced has got a victory against Indra by winning the world of the gods or the heaven. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಪುರವಾಸಿನಿ ತ್ವಾಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾದಾನಂಚ ದೇಹಿ ಮೇ. ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ.